guys, my name is Winnie Joe, and I speak on issues regarding immigration and life as a former international student, a mom, and a career woman, and so much more. So, if you're willing to follow me on this journey and listen to all of my videos, I'd love you to subscribe if you're new here. And if you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for being here. And if you want to know more about my social life, you can follow me on TikTok. My name on TikTok is I am Winnie Joe too. And I'm going to follow back. Yes. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Life in the UK test, my experiences, and I was able to pass that test. Okay. I'm also going to cover the facts and give some clarification on some things you don't know as an immigrant in the UK. So, first of all, the Life in the UK test is a mandatory test that everyone that is an immigrant needs to write in order to get their indefinite leave to remain. And it's an exam that's written just once. Now, there's another exam that follows it, which is the English test. But if you already an international student or ex-international student in the UK, you don't need to prove your use of English. But those that came as a dependent, your spouse, your children, if they are already more than 18 at the time when you need to apply, that's when they need to do the English test. Yes, and the English test they need to do is the IELTS. All right. That aside, let's concentrate on the Life in the UK test. The Life in the UK test is a very important exam, and I'm going to be telling you general facts about it. First off, do you know that the certificate, the result gotten from that exam, do you know it does not expire? So if you're already on the pathway, which means if you have your skilled worker visa and you know that within this time and this time, by the year 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, you're going to need to apply for indefinite leave to remain. I suggest you should write your test now and ace it and pass it instead of you keeping it till that dying time. Because usually, when you apply for your indefinite leave to remain, it takes at least minimum of sometimes 6 months. Yeah, 6 months, minimum of 6 weeks, maximum of 6 to 10 months. It takes a long while, though, just the point to get your results. So now you need to change, you need to apply on time. That's 6 months before your visa expires. That's when you can start applying. And you cannot wait for that time before you now start panicking to write this test. So I usually tell people because your certificate does not expire, it's lifelong certificate, the result does not expire. You will use it for the indefinite leave to remain and for your subsequently for your passport, citizenship, and all of that. So it's it's nice, it's better if you write it now. And because it's not an exam that's quite easy as you think, because it's just like your driving test exam, the theory, yes. So it's not quite easy. So you might not want to put yourself in such a fix and you want to do it now. And yes, for your dependents, as I said earlier, they will also need to do the exam. So it's not a question of just the main applicants writing the exam and covering the entire family. The only people that are exempted from writing this exam is children under the age of 18 and some other people that are given special exemptions, which could be anything like um, health wise or etc. That is given at the discretion of the Home Office. All right then. So your life in the UK test currently it costs £50, but there've been talks saying that they're going to increase that amount by April this year. And they're not going to call it Life in the UK test. It's going to be called British Values test, something like that. So you might want to write it now before the amount increases to £250 or whatever is the amount they're um, proposing. Yeah, so you might want to write it now. And it's also said that they're going to make it a bit harder because the number of people that want to write this, everything about them is just about raising funds and raising money. So sometimes I do believe that there's a quota. That's what I just believe here. So it's not really a good idea to write any exams in the UK towards the end of the year. It's good when you write it now, beginning of the year. At least if there's really a quarter, you should be able to make it. And if you pass, they should be able to give you your marks. You get the gist. Okay, let's move on. So my experience writing the Life in the UK test, it was quite challenging because I and my partner had to write it, and I told some other people around me. And what did I use in reading? I went to the local library and I got the Life in the UK test book and the answers. The thing is this, though I got the 2024 latest version of these books, I discovered that there are other versions of the Life in the UK test made by different authors. So there's no one that is categorically like, this is the one, read it and you'll pass. So what I did was to go on YouTube. There are a lot of good people giving giving this Life in the UK test videos, that are doing it, and tutorials on YouTube, and it was quite educative. It was really nice. I was able to learn a lot of things from them. And um, contrary to what I was thinking they were going to ask questions relating government. No, the things that they asked in the exam was more about history. Yes, the history of the British, how they came to be, the Stone Age, the Iron Age, the parks in the UK, and all of that. They were not. I was thinking they were going to be talking about the Parliament, the legislation, how laws are made, who is the Prime Minister, what's the duties um, of the King and the monarch, and all of that. It was not like that. It was more of the history side. Okay, so what was my experience going for the exam? Well, after registering for the exam, on the day of the exam, about 30 minutes before the time, I was there and they did a thorough security check. They took out my glasses, used their beeper to beep all through, told me to roll off my sleeves and checked, and then they told me to take off my trousers. I rolled it up and they checked. And what did they ask me to do again? Yes, they told me to take off my shoes. So I took off my shoes, they checked, and they told me to put my jacket. They gave me a cabinet, a locker, where I kept my bag, my car keys, and whatever, my phone and whatnot in there. Yes, they asked me to switch off my phone. So I put them in the locker and I was just going into the exam hall with just the key of the locker. And after that, they were giving you're given an attendance to sign. So you sign your name, the attendance, and you go into the hall. In the hall, you're going to meet the examiner, and he's going to take you to where your seat is and set up the computer for you. So that's the experience in the exam hall. So now let's talk about the exam itself. The exam itself is 24 questions, and I think you have 45 minutes to answer it. The thing is that it is very tricky. It's very tricky because there are some questions that requires you to have two answers. There are some questions that requires you to have um, just one, or to pick the most. There's a difference between the correct and the absolute answer. So there's a very big difference. So you should know it, because when you see the question, you see the answers, like what? You want me to pick just one answer, but this is correct and this is correct. And they're asking you what is the absolute answer. So you should take the one that is absolute, that cannot be disputed. Just for instance, um, King Charles is the monarch of is the monarch of Britain. So is that the correct answer or the absolute answer? It is the absolute answer because it cannot be contested. You get the idea. It cannot be changed or stuff like that. So there's a way the answers are being asked, and that's why it's very important to um, watch these YouTube videos, listen to the questions. There's one that's really educative. The guy is really good, so you should listen to them, and I think you'll be able to ace it. And yes, the book, even though no question came out from that book, to be sincere, but then it gave me a line of thought. So by the time you start reading it, you are aware and saying, okay, these are the things. In fact, some of the things were taught in governments. So you're telling yourself, okay, these are the things that happened and all of that. And yes, because I do believe history does not change, but um, politics, the political side of the life in Britain, life in the UK test of the British life, it changes very, is very dynamic. For instance, they were asking in the year 2022, who was the prime minister? Was it Rishi Sunak? Was it Keir Starmer? Or was it Kemi Badenoch, or was it Tony Blair? So questions like that popped up, but it was very rare because that's like politics. Whereas real questions like what is the Magna Carta? What year was it? What is Good Friday? What was done on that day? What is the Saints' Day in Scotland? This historical stuff like that about their heritage, their general life, that's what that's what they concentrate on more. But still, you just need to read everything and just pray that it's quite easy. And yeah, talking about the experience in the exam hall, because because it's very tricky, you find yourself finishing it on time. That's when you should have a second look. So you can actually go back, edit your answers, have a second look at the questions, and before you finally make up your mind to submit. So that is it, really. Okay, so let's talk about how you get your results. Um, when you're done with the test, the moment you click submit, it goes on there, it submits real time, and the computer just marks it. Before you're done taking your bag or accessing the locker, taking your bag, your phone, going down the stairs, your result is already in your email. When you click the link in the email, when you see pass, you pass. But if you fail, you're going to see a long list and saying you've not been able to meet the requirements for British settlement. That does not mean that they are saying you have not stayed up to 5 years in the UK. No, they're just trying to say that you did not meet the cutoff mark and you failed. So that is it. Um, if you've written your theory test, your driving license theory test, you should have it in mind that it's something like that, the same playing field this belongs to, the life in the UK test belongs to. So you might want to the same way you are very diligent, you read very hard for your theory, that's the same way you should do for your life in the UK test. So that's basically it. I'll be in the comment section if you have any questions, please let me know. And as I said, you don't need to wait till the very last minute before you write a test. You should do it now and you'll be able to get your results and just keep it. And when you're ready to apply, it's just for you to put in your reference number in your application because it's just like when you're filling your visa form and then they ask you, have you written your life in the UK test? And you say yes, and then they say put in your reference number. And so you put the reference number because you've passed, you just put it and it automatically goes through. And yes, I think I've forgotten one crucial part of this. When you're registering for the exam, make sure you go straight to the website, the UK website to register, because there are lots of other websites where they just charge you more and steal your information, your data. So you should go straight to the website and enroll. You should take a center closest to you so that you should be able to get there on time and get back home, and they're going to require a means of identification when you're registering. So if you're using your BRP, you know they were saying that BRP is no longer valid. You can use it as a means of ID. Yes, they put a pause on that, so you can use your BRP as a form of ID. So you just put the expiring date, which was December 31st, 2024, and it will accept it. If you're using your international passport, that's also fine, but you just have to make sure your international passport is still valid, which means it's not yet expired. Okay, so that is it for today. Thank you so much. Beneath this video description, I'm going to be putting the link to the Telegram group if you want to join the Telegram community, and if you want to discuss any business, click on the email beneath. And please don't forget to follow me on TikTok. I am Winnie too. Thank you so much for your time today. Bye.